I am endlessly fascinated with how many people are obsessed with the mystery of Mallory and Irvine and what happened to them on June 8th, 1924. Did they make it to the summit? What route did they take? And how did they die? And today I have an awesome interview with none other than Adrian Ballinger, who has invested a great deal of time and effort into trying to solve the mystery of Mallory and Irvine. In 2019, I was with a National Geographic crew that went to look for the body of Sandy Irvine on some tips that we had received from historian Tom Holzel. There was also a team there from Discovery Channel. One of my friends, Jake Norton, was there, and the expedition was led by none other than Adrian Ballinger, who has summited Everest 8 times, one of those times without the use of bottled oxygen. If anybody can attest to the difficulty of climbing the second step, it would be Adrian. This photograph depicts him at the second step on a ladder and trying to surmount the obstacles of getting to the summit of Mount Everest. So if anybody knows about how hard it would be for Mallory and Irvine to have made it over the second step, it's Adrian. So in this very short conversation, I asked Adrian how the expedition managed in 2019 to look for the body, where they spent many days above 8,000 meters looking for clues. Coincidentally, Adrian and I spoke on the 99th anniversary of the disappearance of Mallory and Irvine. That was not by design. It was purely chance, but I think it was meant to be. One thing that's important to note, that in 1999, during the Mallory and Irvine expedition, when Conrad Anker discovered the body of George Mallory, our team enacted a series of codes because other teams on the mountain were monitoring our radio transmissions, and so we used words like Snickers and tea to depict certain things if anything was discovered, so it wouldn't set off others who were watching from afar, some of them using telescopes to see our movement up and down on the mountain. So that's important to know when you listen to this interview with Adrian. It's an awesome interview. His enthusiasm about the mystery of Mallory and Irvine is palpable. Here it is, Adrian Ballinger on the mystery of Mallory and Irvine. Real quick, so today, you may or may not have remembered, is the 99th anniversary of the disappearance of George Mallory and Sandy Irvine. And you...
Was that timing planned, or did we just land on it?
Completely serendipitous. And I thought about it this morning. I'm like, whoa, you have a lot of experience in this story. You spent a lot of time up at altitude searching. Jake Norton, Dave Morton, there was like, what a team you guys had. So you didn't just go there not knowing the story. You have an inherent understanding of the mystery of Mallory and Irvine. First of all, before I even say that, when we were listening, we were monitoring your radio when you were up on that search that last day, and you were like, I found a chopstick. And we were like, oh my gosh, it's code. The code word. Oh, I think they found Sandy Irvine, or the camera.
Oh, God, what a moment that was. I mean, we had just been searching and searching, and we really hadn't found anything to get excited about. And then we found this piece of wood. And, I am the newbie to this search as compared to Jake and Dave and, of course, you. And, like, I was just a sponge sucking in all this, like, information and knowledge. And I got really into it. And we spent 6 nights, 7 days above 8,000 meters searching and suffering. I learned a lot about myself during that time, actually. And then we found this piece of wood, and I thought it was a tent stake, and got all excited. And Jake's like this and that and the other, and I'm getting all excited. And we're talking about it, and the very next person who sees it is like, it's a chopstick from like 2 seasons ago, Adrian. It really was just a chopstick.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, we didn't know that down there. We were thinking, oh man, we've been scooped. So with that, having searched and gone into it, what do you think happened to Sandy and George on that fateful day?
I mean, of course, my guess is only guesswork. And first and foremost, what I think about is, like, it is stories like theirs that, like, just captured me and brought me into this world and set me on my path of my last 25 years of life, was this, like, thirst for the unknown and mystery. And so I so much of me wanted to find the camera and answer the question of what happened. And yet part of me also just loves the fact that the mystery is still a mystery. We still don't know. So what happened that fateful day? I mean, I would love to believe they stood on top and they just put too much in on the way up, as we all can imagine doing and have all come close to, and it fell apart on the way down. And they both fell, and we found teams found Mallory, and Irvine has not been found. It's with how hard you've done research and Jake's done research and how much searching has happened. It's hard for me to imagine we will find Irvine.
Yeah.
I really feel like our two teams looked in a lot of places. But so I leave here believing that they did summit. I like that part of the story. I like that dream. I think it was possible from everything I've learned about them and where they were last seen and things like that. To me, because we're even experiencing this now, if you don't summit and get back down to base camp under your own power, it was not the successful first summit or first ascent of the mountain. So I feel like I can believe they stood on top, and yet also believe that we're celebrating the first ascent when we talk about Hillary and Norgay. So
you are going to make a lot of people really happy by saying you believe they made it. Seriously, because I'm trying to put them on top, and I really rankle people by saying that I think maybe they didn't make it, but I want so badly to believe they did. So there's this debate: did they do the ridge route, the second step, or did they cut under and do the Norton Couloir? Any insight on that?
Just my experience on the second step, it is incredibly challenging and hard to imagine in the 20s. So I think with not knowing exactly what the snowpack was that season or all these different things, I think it's more likely they traversed and went up the couloir. That makes a lot of sense to me. I still have not actually traveled that terrain myself. It's a dream to one day get to, and so I can't speak to exactly how technical it might have been or was, but they were looking for the easiest way up. And I think a rock face, an almost vertical rock face with a 5'9" climbing route, I just don't think that would have been the path they chose.
I have more with Adrian Ballinger coming up in a couple more segments, so be looking forward for that. And I'll put the links to any other interviews, segments with Adrian in the notes and the description of this video. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, be sure to take a second to subscribe and also look into the idea of becoming a member or joining my Patreon team, where you can have some exclusive content there. Thanks for being here on Everest Mystery. I appreciate you. Have a blessed day.